The thought that we can actually hear from God is crazy. Why would the God who created everything, the God who's responsible for running the whole universe, the God who rules time and eternity, stoop down to speak to a lowly human being, a mere speck in the vastness of the universe? Throughout history, people have been imprisoned, burned at the stake, or committed to institutions because they claim to have heard the voice of God. Yet the Bible is full of stories of people who had actual communication with God himself. And what's more, there are many sane, intelligent people living today who claim to have heard from God. Now, even though it may seem completely insane, somewhere deep inside, all of us would love to hear from God. There is something deep inside us that calls out for the divine, that longs for the connection with the eternal. And why is it there? Why can't we just nonchalantly walk away from the thought of being in contact with God? And if he is beyond, out there, up there, and he decides to speak? Is it possible for a modern, average, normal, non-delusional person to actually hear God? Well, I am glad you asked that question. In fact, it is one of the most common questions that I actually get asked. So it is something I've explored. I've looked up, I've researched, I've read, and I've reached out for, and I've discovered a few things. Firstly, the God of heaven is intimately concerned with the comings and goings of humanity. In the Bible, we see that God made a special point to take time each day to talk to the man that he created out of the dust and the woman he created alongside him. And from that time on, it seems like God has been looking for every opportunity to connect with humanity, even when humanity did not want to connect with him. So, why is it that some of us can hear from God and some can't? It certainly has nothing to do with our own righteousness or how holy we are. On the contrary, many of the people who had encounters with God in the Bible were thieves, liars, polygamists, violent men, even idol worshippers. And to be honest, their lives are more of a cautionary tale of how not to live, but God chose to speak to them anyway. God is always looking for a way to redeem someone's story, to find a way to help people discover hope for themselves and others. Which begs the question, if God had no qualm speaking to the people in ancient times or modern despite their obvious flaws, why can't we hear God speak to us now? Probably one of the biggest reasons we don't hear from God is because our communication is usually in the form of begging and telling him what we want. Like the guy on YouTube who keeps asking you to hit the like button so his videos are seen by more people. Sometimes when we come to talk to God, we are like that friend or neighbor who only shows up at our door when they need something from us, and if we need something from them, they're nowhere to be found. Don't you think that God wants more out of our relationship than that? We forget that God is a person. We forget that God is interested in who we are and hopes that we will take time to be interested in who He is. God wants us to find a friend, not an answer. So think about your own life. Who are you most likely to confide in, to share the secrets of your heart with, help out when they have a problem, lend them your strength in times they really need it? It's not going to be the guy that you say hello to once or twice a year while out walking the dog. You are going to share the deep things of your heart with someone that you know intimately, someone that you care for and you know cares for you. You're going to open up to that person who has walked with you, who has known you on your good days and your rough days and still loves you. It's going to be the one who trusts you despite your obvious flaws. And don't you think that God feels the same way? The Bible tells us in 2 places that Moses talked to God like a man talks to his friend. Let that sink in a moment. The great King David was recognized as a man who had God's heart. These men heard from God because they took time to get to know him. What about you? You probably really want to hear from God as well. So my challenge to you is to go find a quiet place in your house, sit in the corner of the library, go alone to a neighborhood coffee shop, and carve out some time for you and God to hang out together. And in that place, start the conversation with God. Tell God something personal that you have shared with few people or maybe no one. And then ask God a personal question. How are you doing today? What breaks your heart? What makes you happy? And wait for an answer. Oh, and you may want to have a pen and notebook ready to write down what he says. And if you like this video, and you would like to find out more about how God talks, well, you're really going to like the one that's recommended over here.